Well, we're continuing in the book of Acts, and we're going backwards from Revelation to Genesis, looking at some of my favorite passages of Scripture. And I call this section Divine Appointments. In chapters 1 through 7, 2-year period of time, 33 to 35 AD, we looked at Peter, and then we made the transition with just a slight mention of Paul, but the predominant ministry of Philip. And we find that in chapters 35 through 48. And covering a period of almost 13 years. Here it's really quite interesting when I call it a divine appointment, because it says that an angel of the Lord came to Philip and said, "Arise and go." No further instructions. But it says as he was going, he ran into an Ethiopian eunuch who was riding back from Jerusalem where he'd been at worship, and he was in his chariot. And he came alongside of him as divine appointment, and the Ethiopian eunuch was reading from the scriptures, and he was reading in the book of Isaiah. And Philip says, "Do you understand what you're reading?" And the eunuch said, "How can I understand unless somebody come and help and guide me through the scriptures?" And he happened to be reading Isaiah 53:7, like a sheep led to slaughter. And I want to pick that up there. In verse 35 says, "Then Philip opened his mouth, and beginning from the scripture, he preached Jesus to him. And as they went along the road, they came to some water, and the eunuch said, 'Look, water, what prevents me from being baptized?' And Philip said, 'If you believe with all of your heart, you may.' And he answered and said, 'I believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God.'" Now, what you probably don't realize is that in the book of Isaiah there are more than 12 prophecies that were fulfilled in the person of Jesus. The eunuch having just come down from Jerusalem in worship, you know that Jerusalem was buzzing all about Jesus, all about the things that happened, all about the things he said, all about the crucifixion and the resurrection. And you know very well that Philip was well versed in the scriptures, and he took all of those 12 and probably some other scriptures and used those to explain that Jesus fulfilled all of those prophecies, and that he was the long-awaited Messiah. No accident, divine appointment. And what an incredible thing to be reading from the book of Isaiah, where it also says that he was pierced through for our transgressions, crushed for our iniquities, and by his scourgings we are healed. You know very well that that eunuch was touched to the heart as he heard exactly what had happened in Jerusalem just days before. And now he was seeing it fulfilled in the scriptures. Well, my friends, what you also must notice in this particular section of scripture is that it says, and then all of a sudden after the baptism, Philip was in Azotus. It doesn't say he traveled to Azotus. It's like God lifted him up right then and there from that place where he was with Philip and placed him where he needed to be next. Incredible story when you think about it. This event is one that you need to study. I also want you to notice the requirement for baptism. It's something that your parents can't do for you. It's not something that you can do as a child without any understanding. Philip clearly said, if you believe with all of your heart, you may be baptized. And that's my thought for the day. God bless you and have a great day.